We're into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup to take on Liverpool as we have gone and snatched a last-minute winner in Nottingham at the City Ground as we beat Nottingham Forest 1-0 late on. CASE-HEROOO, bullet header. Big win. The FA Cup is now the only trophy we can win. We're not going to win the Premier League. We can't win the Champions League. We can't win the League Cup because that competition's already finished. We need to win this competition. We've got Liverpool in the quarterfinals. It is incredibly tough, but I'm up for a big game, as always. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say today's performance was vintage or whatever. It was a lot more of the sort of same Ten Hag ball that we've been seeing for a while now. But I don't think it was disastrous. I think we set up tactically decently. I think we left our left side a bit vulnerable. We sacrificed our left-hand side defensive stability by dropping Amrabat into midfield, and that really opened up our attack and really made us look good, because then McTominay was making the runs beyond Rashford. The only problem with that is Rashford wasn't pressing, so it was like we were playing with 10 men. I liked the tactical setup today from Ten Hag. I don't think it was perfect, but I think he got it right. Let's get into these player ratings. I think going forward, we're still a bit iffy on the ball and the way we move it and the shots we take and our IQ in front of goal, but I don't think it was too bad. Let's start off with Onana, who has to get a 7. I don't think it'd be disrespectful to give him anything less. I mean, Onana has been in really good form lately. In his last 4 or 5 games, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. You could argue maybe in the Luton game, but I don't think he's really put a foot wrong. I think he's been really good. I think his distribution's getting better. It was hard for him today because he was put under quite a bit of pressure, and our midfielders weren't really presenting to him, especially with the setup. You know, Amrabat needs time to drop from left back into midfield, and McTominay, for some reason, has the inability to drop deep. So it was difficult for Onana to play out from the back today. And I thought he did as well as he could, and I thought his shot stopping was top tier. So a good game once again from Andre Onana. Dalot, 7, man of the match. I mean, he's been the best player for us this season. I'm not sure how many times I'm going to mention I'm a Diogo Dalot fanboy. He is just, he's out of this world. Like, as a modern day right back, he has got the lot. Going back, I think his defense has improved massively this season, and I think he has the ability to mark on the back post. And I think going forward, his crossing is just incredible. His turn of pace is incredible. And he's very, very quietly turning into one of the most underrated right backs in Europe. Brilliant. Diogo Dalot once again. He's a 7. Might be an unpopular man of the match, but he was the best player for me. Raphael Varane, he gets a 6.5. He kept a clean sheet. He didn't really put a foot wrong. I don't think all the shots that Forest had were necessarily his fault. It was more the midfield. So, yeah, I don't think Varane did anything wrong today. Same with Lindelof. I'd actually probably say he was a bit better than Varane. I thought the Iceman was back to his icy ways. I thought he was rolling around the back four with such precision, cleaning up all those loose balls. And, yeah, I think playing him in position, surprise, actually, you know, brought the best out of Lindelof today. And I thought he played really well. And I thought playing Amrabat at left back was the right decision, because I thought he was really good. Sofyan Amrabat. He gets a 6.5 from me. I think playing at left back as a right footer in the modern day is really tough. And I know we could very easily go and play Dalot at left back and Kembwala at right back, but that removes the ability Dalot has at the right. So to keep Dalot's offensive abilities on the right hand side and sacrifice one of your midfielders or your centre backs to play down the left, in this case, Amrabat, who was brilliant at cutting it off the right, dropping into midfield, playing some passes that were so vital, and he even made a few runs through the channels that were ignored by some of our midfielders. So I thought Amrabat looked really good today, and he gets a 6 from me. CASE-HEROOO, he's got to get a 7, I guess. He scored the game winner. I think in general play, he wasn't all that. He didn't really have that many touches of the ball, and he didn't hold the midfield as well as he could have, but it was tough. And obviously got the late winner, bullet header, his head cut open from the header too. I thought it was a really good game from CASE-HEROOO. Now let's move on to Scott McTominay. And Scotty, well, he didn't score a goal. He made a few runs that I think Eric asked him to do. But if you'd never watched this channel before, I'm not a Scott McTominay fan. I'm a fan of him coming on in the last 5 minutes, but I'm not one of those people that has the delusion of him being a good general player for us. But I think Eric today did actually, with Amrabat dropping into midfield, he had the license to go forward. And he did create a few he did almost get on the end of a few, but I thought he was too selfish at times still. I think there is a bit of selfishness in Scott's game ever since he started scoring all these goals, and he needs to get that out. I don't think he really added a lot to the game, so it's got to be a 5.5 for Scott. I don't think he was very good. I mean, Bruno got the assist on the game winner. Looked better. He looked better. Bruno has been terrible lately. Terrible. And we know he is a player that can get consistent 8, 9, 10s. He is that sort of player. He is top-notch, world-class at his best. But he's been very poor lately. I'm going to give him a steady 6 because he got the game-winning assist. And I thought he was better. I think a 4.8 is based off recency bias. I thought he was better today, Bruno. Anthony, 6. Again, I think our fan base just has an agenda towards players for some reason. Because Anthony, on the day, played very well. I think he created well. I don't think he was selfish. I thought he played a few really, really clean and gutsy balls that he wouldn't usually pull off, but pulled off beautifully. It was the sort of balls Bruno would be playing. And in fact, going back to Bruno quickly, I thought his passing in general play, he made this pass to Rashford. That was astounding. Outside of the foot through 2 defenders, and Rashford misses an absolute sitter off target. Bruno was good. Anyway, we'll move off that. Anthony, he was making passes that Bruno would make. He was making some really, really, really good passes in some tight gaps. I thought, cutting it off the left, he was actually quite dangerous today. For some reason, the Forest players never saw him cutting on his left. They, for some reason, decided to close off the wing a lot of the time, which obviously provided an advantage to Anthony in the attack. And I thought defensively, he was really good again. So I thought it was a better game from Anthony. I think I'd give him a 6. Garnacho, probably a 5. I don't think he had a very good game. And I think Garnacho lately has been having some games where he hasn't really gone to goal involvement, yet he still had a good game. Like, I think today is one of those where he really wasn't on top of it. Rashford's going to get a 3 from me. He was despicable. The lack of energy in the press was a joke. The lack of effort, the lack of just dropping your head if you miss an opportunity. Like, God, it's not even like put your hand up saying, sorry, my bad. It's just drop your head. Like, awful body language today from Rashford, as it has been all season. Ahmad, 6, provided a decent spark when he came on. Johnny, Cobby, and Eric, I thought he set up okay tactically. Didn't have a lot on the bench. I thought the starting lineup was probably right. He just didn't have a lot of breathing space with how he could set up this game with the players available. I'd give him a 6.5 because we got the win, but it wasn't a vintage Eric performance. Let me submit my votes. The man of the match today is, if it would submit, Onana. I'm happy with that too, because Onana, I believe, if we take a look at the Player of the Year votes, got 4 from me. Dallo got my 5. Onana got my 4. It was very close between them two. They both played superbly well. Casemiro got my 3 for the game winner. Amrabat got 2. Anthony got 1. Leaderboard, Delo. He's got a 20 vote lead on Maguire and Onana. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why Højlund's face is next to Onana and Onana's face is next to Højlund. I have not fixed that. I'm sorry. But Onana, I mean, he's just quietly had some very good games this season that's climbed him up there. Obviously, he's had those honkers in the Champions League, and if he could get minus point votes, he would. But in the good games he's had, he's been having 4 or 5 vote performances. And then you've got Højlund in 4, Garnacho in 5. Alright, thank you all for watching. On the weekend, we've got City. And I'll see you then. Cheers.